Now, big news from Formula One this afternoon. Valtteri Bottas has confirmed he'll leave Mercedes at the end of the current F1 season, an announcement that means George Russell is likely to be announced as his replacement. As you can see, our reporter Craig Slater has made it back from Zandvoort to tell us all about it. Craig, huge news this afternoon. A multi-year deal as well for Bottas at Alfa Romeo. What does everyone have to say about this?
I tell you who'll be interested in this as well. That's Emma Raducanu. She's a big F1 fan too.
Oh,
she
brilliant.
was McLaren's guest at Silverstone a couple of months ago. Not a surprise, this. Comments from both Mercedes and Bottas in the last hour to greet this news. Toto Wolff, the Mercedes team principal, saying, "This was a difficult decision for us. Valtteri's done a fantastic job," he says, as a teammate over the last 5 years. Together with Lewis, he has built a benchmark partnership between two teammates in the sport. And that's a significant term to use, because Mercedes, want this benchmark partnership to continue on to the season's end, even though Bottas is no longer with the team. Wolff says Bottas absolutely would have deserved to stay with the team, but he's pleased for Bottas that he has been able to find an exciting challenge at Alfa Romeo. And Mercedes did not want to make any comments on their driver lineup for next year until they knew that Bottas, who will no longer be at the team, will be replaced by George Russell, had his drive secured. In Bottas's case, he's thankful for the opportunity he's had at Mercedes. He's had 9 race victories with them, and he says he's squeezed every drop out of this opportunity, and you can't really argue with that. And he's also spoken quite movingly about what a privilege and a great sporting challenge it has been to race alongside Lewis Hamilton. And not many drivers could out-qualify Lewis Hamilton on a relatively regular basis. Valtteri Bottas did that, and for a couple of seasons, I think the last 2 have been rather more one-sided, but the first 2 seasons, Lewis Hamilton certainly knew of the challenge of Valtteri Bottas, respected it, and wondered for a while if he would prove a genuine rival to him for the world title. It hasn't turned out that way, but they can look back on 4 Constructors' Championships won. And gone unnoticed, amongst everything else that happened at Zandvoort at the weekend, was another Bottas podium, which lifted him back up to 3rd in the drivers' standings. So he has performed very respectably. And that podium also lifted Mercedes further ahead of Red Bull in the Constructors' standings. So he has done the job asked of him, and Mercedes are very appreciative of that.
And immediately when this announcement came to light, you turn your attention to who is going to replace him as well. Of course, we've heard all of the reports about George Russell. No one would be surprised, I don't think, at this point, if it happened. But when can we expect something to be happening?
We know it's going to happen. George Russell himself told us that he was informed that he'd got this drive, or that he knew what he was doing next season before the Belgian Grand Prix. A classy touch, I think, from Mercedes to let Bottas have his day, announce his drive with Alfa Romeo for next season. Mercedes will not announce George Russell today. I understand that. I think we can expect it in the next 24 to 48 hours. And they're not necessarily hiring Russell. In fact, they're not hiring Russell because of anything Valtteri Bottas has done wrong. It enables them to future-proof their driver lineup, potentially, for life after Lewis Hamilton. Hamilton's got 2 more years on his contract. He might go on longer than that, but George Russell is only in his early 20s, so could be there, for 5, 6, 7 years, who knows. But I think the key to this is Mercedes are a company which believes in rewarding excellence. As far as they see it, George Russell has deserved this chance. The time is right to bring him in. And were they not to reward the excellence that Russell has produced, especially since they've had him on the driver programme for a number of years, that would be against the company ethos. But it's going to be great for British Formula One fans to have 2 British drivers, especially the battle of the generations within one team. We had the years of Hamilton going up against Jenson Button. That was a rather different dynamic, because they were both world champions and both roughly the same age, of the same generation. This is going to potentially push Lewis Hamilton, maybe take him out of his comfort zone. But as I say, Mercedes are prepared for that eventuality, and they think Russell's deserving of them. Of this chance. So even if there are there is a bit of instability there, or a bit of friction between the two drivers in the future, you know, that's the price they've got to pay.
Yeah, OK, now you never slow down, Craig. You rushed here already after being at the Grand Prix yesterday. Looked an incredible event, amazing scenes, great fans, but could be hugely significant for the title fight as well.
Jasper, you had to be there at Zandvoort just to realise the significance of what it was all about. But if you couldn't be there and you couldn't be there, I've got something that'll maybe help get you in the mindset.
Wow. Look at
the
this.
mindset of the Orange Army. Now
Look at this.
This is the Verstappen.
Put it on now.
That were hung out.
Can't get it over my hair, Craig.
Yeah, there it goes. You look very fetching. I think we'll go double Dutch.
Here we go. Well. Let me show the viewers this.
We can, because this...
Incredible.
This was...
Show them, Craigie. That's not on properly, Craig. Come on.
This was something I've never seen at Formula One. An entire crowd, 70,000 people, bedecked in orange. Everyone was handed one of these kits when they came in. And what it must have been like... We'll sit down again, shall we?
I don't want to sit down, Craig. I'm enjoying this.
All right, we'll stand.
First time I've won a cape.
What it must have been like for Max Verstappen driving round to see that sea of orange, or indeed his chief rival Lewis Hamilton seeing it. Well, only they can properly explain. But nerves of steel Verstappen showed to cope with that atmosphere, meeting the King of the Netherlands in advance of the race, to deliver the performance he did was something else. He's only 3 points ahead, but I think he'll take an enormous psychological boost from that victory. But a long way to go in the championship yet. Good tracks for Mercedes to come. Expect Lewis Hamilton to hit back. But if I had to quote an old Dutch folk song to sum up what Verstappen can go on to achieve in his career, it would be this. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. No, no, there's no limits to what Max Verstappen can do. And what a demonstration from him.
Well, there we go.
Sunday.
I guess we're now Verstappen fans.